Hello, I'm Dr. Adam McCann, a lecturer in law at the University of Exeter. My research areas explore the relationships between law, governance, and human rights. So, you're thinking about applying to law. Studying law in the UK is a popular choice for both UK and international students, and there are a number of different universities that offer law for you to consider. Many law programs are selective, meaning that we're looking for excellent students to join us, and often academic requirements are set to reflect this. This also means that universities receive more applications than places they have available, meaning that they may need to assess your application in different ways. Most universities do not require you to have studied a specific subject, such as law at A-level. However, it is worth checking individual universities that you are applying to make sure. At the University of Exeter, our A-level requirements for Llb Law are A** AA at A-level, excluding general studies, which we do not accept as a suitable A-level. For IB, this will be 38 points overall. Each university is different, so it's worth checking what individual universities do require. Some universities may also require you to meet additional entry criteria, such as sitting and achieving a certain grade in the LNAT, that's the Law National Aptitude Test, or completing work experience within a legal setting. Some universities may also interview students for places. At Exeter, we do not require the LNAT and understand that not everyone is able to take part in work experience, and want to make sure that students have the opportunity to demonstrate their passion and reason for wanting to study law, even if they haven't had the chance to complete legal work experience. One of the ways that you can do this is via the personal statement. This is your chance to show universities why you are the best student for their course, what you know about and understand about the subject area, and why you are passionate about studying the subject. It varies from university to university as to how much value is placed on the personal statement in making a decision on whether to make you an offer, but it does form part of the holistic review of your application. For international students, there is no student cap on the numbers of places we have, unlike courses like medicine, and each university will review your application to determine whether they are able to offer you a place based on their places available on the course each year. Some universities may start to make offers to students before the UCAS equal consideration deadline, whereas some may wait until after this deadline to make any offers. If you submitted your application early in the cycle but haven't heard from your university, it doesn't mean they've forgotten you or don't want you. It's just because they're making a full assessment of your application, perhaps in relation to the wider pool of applications they've received that year, before making a decision. Hopefully that helps to explain some of the processes of applying to the law programs in the UK. I wish you the very best of luck on deciding on the right course for you, and hopefully we'll receive an application from you soon. So, what kind of law programs can you take at the University of Exeter, and what type of modules are you expected to take? We offer a variety of LLB degrees at the University of Exeter, all of which are qualifying law degrees. The first type of LLB degree is our 3-year law program. As our 3-year LLB is our most popular program, I will go through the structure of that program in a bit more detail in a few moments. The second and third type of LLB degree are our study abroad law programs. These are both 4-year degrees in which you will spend year 1 and 2 at Exeter, and then year 3 you will spend at one of our European or international law school partners. Then in year 4 you come back to Exeter and finish your final year here with us. We have a wide range of study abroad destinations for law, ranging from Italy, Switzerland and the Netherlands all the way to the US, Canada, Singapore and Australia. The vast majority of these destinations do not require that you speak the home country language. For example, in the Netherlands and in Switzerland, you can do the entire year abroad in English. They teach law in English. But a minority of our destinations, like our partner law schools in Spain, do require that you speak their home language. In that case, you can undertake language tuition as part of your program in the first 2 years to help you develop sufficient competence in that language. Whatever law school you decide to attend, I really recommend that you check out their year abroad programs. It's such a great opportunity to develop key skills and to learn about another jurisdiction. Speaking of another jurisdiction, we shall now move on to the 4th program, the LLB Maîtrise en Droit, which is also known as our English Law and French Law program. This is an award-winning program, winning the prestigious Franco-British Lawyers Society Award for the best English Law and French Law program in the UK in 2019. It's a dual qualifying degree, so it sets you up well for a legal career in the UK and in France. It's a 4-year program. You spend the first 3 years at Exeter learning English and French law. The French law modules are taught in French. And then in year 4, you go to the University of Rennes to finish your degree. Next, we have the last 3 programs, all of which embed a year of practical work experience into your degree. All of these placement programs are 4 years in duration. Students on these programs spend year 1 and 2 at Exeter and year 3 on placement, which is normally paid, and it's a year that counts towards your final degree classification. And then you return in year 4 to Exeter to complete your degree. The first of these placement programs is the LLB with Reed Smith program. This is an innovative placement program. We are one of a very select number of law schools who have an agreement with Reed Smith, one of the largest law firms in the world, for a number of our students to spend a year there in their London-based office, learning about growth in legal innovation and technology, and who also get guaranteed invite for a training contract assessment. The last 2 programs are very much the same as the Reed Smith one, except students work at a different law firm for the legal placement program or in a non-legal setting for the industrial placement program. For example, I have an academic tutee on this program currently working at EDF Energy Company, learning the ropes of energy and environmental law in practice. And that nicely exemplifies the benefit of placement programs. They provide you with first-hand understanding of professional work, of the environment, and they help you enhance key transferable skills, such as working with others, problem-solving, and communication. Okay, so that's a brief overview of our various programs. For more details, please check out our website. Now I'm going to zoom in on the first and explain briefly the structure of that program. In year 1 and year 2 of our Llb program, you will study the 7 core legal modules, such as criminal law, contract law, constitutional law, etc. Each week, you will attend lectures where we introduce you to the parameters of the topic, and then you'll have scheduled seminars for each topic. It is in those smaller group learning sessions where you will discuss and debate the most important aspects of that area of law, with set activities and an academic member of staff. In year 3, and also for 1 term in year 2, you get the chance to pick which law modules you want to study. At Exeter, we have an extensive range of optionals. The beauty of being able to pick optional modules and effectively having an entire year in terms of subjects to design yourself is twofold. 1, you get to shape your CV according to your specific interests and career aspirations. Maybe you like the idea of specializing in something corporate. In that case, you can pick company law, commercial law, employment law, etc. Or perhaps you prefer a more human rights-centered career. You can pick human rights and human dignity, public international law, and criminal justice and evidence law. And the second major benefit of optional modules is that they truly allow us to bring our research into the classroom. It's a chance to be taught by experts in the field, academics who've written the relevant textbooks and the leading research articles. Our academics are active researchers, and many are world leaders in their field. They bring teaching to life by exposing you to new perspectives and sharing the latest discoveries as they happen. Dr. Josh Martin from our law school based at our Penryn campus, Cornwall, gives us a taster about the laws of shipwrecks, an area that he's been interested in since childhood and which influences his research.
Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Josh Martin and I'm a lecturer at Exeter Law School. And I'd like to tell you today all about my research, which is about pirates, shipwrecks and treasure, if you can believe. But before I do that, I would like to, if I may, tell you a personal story. It takes me back to my childhood when I was about 8 or 9 years old. I remember vividly sitting on the floor with my mum watching old movies. My mum loves old black and white films, and normally these films fail to grip me, but on this one occasion, one particular film had me absolutely mesmerized. It was the 1958 classic British hit movie called A Night to Remember, based on the fateful events on April 14th, 1912, when the Titanic collided with an iceberg and sank in the Atlantic Ocean. It was the most accurate portrayal of the event up to that point, and brought it to an international audience. Now, as a child, I was captivated, and I became a junior, what have since been known as Titanicologist. Other people have called them Titaniacs, but I preferred the term straight up Titanic nerd, yeah? And what we found is there are thousands of people out there who are such Titanic nerds, and it still, as a story, captivates millions of people. We're all familiar with the Titanic disaster, and it's something that really fascinates the worldwide audience. But I wasn't just interested in the stories about the ship and the people on board and the events that took place before and after, but I was most interested perhaps in the story of the wreck, and the wreck itself has become an equal thing of equal interest to the international audience. Sitting 2.5 miles down in the deep, dark depths of the Atlantic Ocean, it's in an area where there's 6,000 pounds of pressure per square inch, and it's covered in these reddish-brown rusticles. And it's sort of a haunting image, this famous image of the bow protruding out through the darkness. And there's lots of questions about how we treat this wreck, issues to do with taking photographs, with tourism at the site, souvenir taking, and what to do with any artifacts that are at the site. Should they be left where they are and treated with respect, or should they be put in a museum so that we can appreciate them up close? And this always fascinated me as a child. Fast forward many years, I had to choose a career, and I always knew that I had a love and an interest and a talent for law as a subject, but I didn't want to be a lawyer. So I decided I was going to be a legal researcher at some stage. But what to research? And the truth is, you may not realize it, but legal research is fascinating and really diverse. I could have done environmental law or human rights law or international and transnational law, dispute resolution, family, medical, criminal, media and entertainment, intellectual property, you name it. There's all sorts of fascinating topics in law, and all my colleagues are doing all sorts of really interesting and fascinating research across all these fields. But I needed to find my own area of expertise, and I landed upon the subject of cultural heritage law. It speaks to my own love of museums and art and history and cultural diversity. And it talks about all sorts of interesting issues to do with ownership, jurisdiction, and sovereignty, and who has rights and responsibilities to protect our world's cultural heritage. And it also asks interesting questions about community ethics, morals, rights, and values, and so on. And the topics within it are also particularly diverse. Whether we're talking about the protection of cultural landscapes, whether we're talking about repatriation of Nazi-looted art. And my research takes me into all these subjects and topics, and it's fascinating, and I love it. Whether we're talking about protection of indigenous rights and traditions and values and practices, whether we're talking about the proper treatment of human remains, how do we treat them respectfully and correctly in museums, for example, and also questions about the rightful home of some of our most important and significant objects and artifacts from history. So it's a fascinating topic, but even within that, I dug deeper and carried on immersing myself in the subject of cultural heritage law and found my true milieu, where I really belonged, and that's swimming in the waters of underwater cultural heritage law. And this is where my research does become all about shipwrecks, pirates, and treasure. And I love it, and it's fascinating, and it brings in together all sorts of interesting things. Environmental law, cultural heritage law, law of the sea, admiralty law, commercial law, all sorts of interesting questions come into cultural heritage law, underwater cultural heritage law as a topic.